What's up, folks out in YouTube land? This is Ethan, aka LordTupperware, and I've got my Arena Open Day 2 Draft 1 run here for you. I recorded the video, but no audio. Figured I'd just give myself the time to focus and then go back and check out what we've done in the past. And I think, I've done this kind of thing once or twice before, and it's nice to have a little bit of space from the gameplay as well, just sort of be like, what the heck was I thinking? Like what was I doing there? I obviously should have done this. So it's helpful for me to learn from my mistakes. I know there will definitely be some, and hopefully you'll enjoy some high stakes competitive cubing. So let's get to it. We're going to be playing back the draft at 1.5x and probably the gameplay at 2x, and then I can pause as we see fit. This pack is a pretty straightforward Swords to Plowshares. There's not even really anything that's close, I think. Like Ornithopter of Paradise, I guess you could make an argument for. I don't think you could really make an argument for that, but I guess Cut Down if you really thought you were going to get into black. And I really did want to get into black, but the two drafts that I did to qualify, I did one that I went 5-3 and then the second one on day one that I went 7-2 with. Black was cut in both of those. So I wasn't going in with the, I'm going to force black and it's going to work like I did in the last open. So I'm just going to take swords here as the best card in the pack. Great, cheap, efficient removal spell in one of, if not the best color, in white. And then this is a really interesting pick. Like, you could just take Spellbinder second, but I really, really value the 1-drops. And I also anticipated with how many people I saw qualifying with Boros on day one that I anticipated red/white being a little cut. And I just think the 1-mana dorks are so good. There's also Incubation Druid and Wolf Willowhaven in the pack, one of which could wheel, get ourselves into some sort of green ramp deck. I sort of thought that green ramp would be one of the better, less drafted strategies today after seeing Mardu getting cut on day one. And then here, what did I end up? I don't even remember what I ended up taking. I think I was bopping around between Garruk Relentless, Null Priest of Oblivion, Thalia. I think I landed on Thalia. Also, Scavenging Ooze is good. Touch the Spirit Realm. Or maybe I just took Touch. I think I ended up taking Touch the Spirit Realm. Now that I'm thinking about it, as just a white removal spell. I don't think I anticipated white aggro. I guess I shouldn't be guessing what I ended up taking. I think I should take Touch the Spirit Realm, but I understand taking Thalia as well as a strong 2-drop. And then another super weak pack. I mean, these have all been pretty weak packs. Happy with the swords, happy with the Pilgrim. Beyond that, not super happy here. Seeing 2 dual lands is nice. I'm not going to take Dromoka's Command and lock into green-white. I'm not going to take Lion Sash. I think it's a little undercosted, or overcosted rather, 2-mana 1/1. And you have to be heavy white. So I can take Scattered Groves here as a nice dual land, and possibly wheel the Indatha Triome. And I don't remember at what point I did it. We'll talk about it at pick 7. One of the things I was hoping to be able to do. So take the Groves here as a nice dual land for currently what we have as our 2 colors, but truly, who knows? Swords to Plowshares is the only card I feel really strongly about. And I'm not dying to get into green-white. I think I've literally never drafted green-white in this cube so far. And there's a Lolth, pick 5. There's also a Clarion Spirit and a Reckoner Bankbuster. So I think I'm off the Lolth train, and it's about Bankbuster versus Clarion Spirit. And there's a couple thoughts that I have for Spirit over Bankbuster. One is that it's not necessarily true that I'll have easy abilities to crew Bankbuster. I guess I could also shout out Thragtusk here. But just generally, my rule of thumb has been when the opportunity presents itself to take a good 2-drop or a 1-drop, you take the good 2-drop or the 1-drop. And then there's Gilded Goose. I mean, there's Intrepid Adversary as well. I think you could have gone mono white, right? You replace the Avacyn's Pilgrim with the Elite Spellbinder, and you're in for mono white aggro. it's hard for me to imagine that actually comes together on day 2. And then here is where I'll talk about that I was hoping I would get Lurrus. Now I queued day 1 with a green-white Lurrus deck, or basically mono green with some white and then a little bit of black as well. And so if I wasn't thinking about Lurrus, I would take Lovestruck Beast. But thinking about Lurrus, I took the Bauble. And I think that's fine. I ended up not playing the Bauble mostly. I didn't really have any reason to, and I didn't want to go down. Like, it was a spot where I didn't want to cut lands, and I couldn't figure out what my worst spell was, so I just ended up cutting Bauble, I think. But I stand by the Bauble pick. Had I seen Lurrus, it would have been really sweet. And I really wanted to be... that was the thing that I felt pretty confident about, was that people weren't taking... they weren't taking the companions as highly as they should. Now, again, if I wasn't hoping for Lurrus, would I have taken Gigantha here? I don't know. I'm not that thrilled about Gigantha. Something like Lauren, especially because we're doing best of 3. Lauren and Reclamation Sage were both cards that I was like, well, I don't know if I'll main deck them, but I definitely want access to them out of the sideboard. Speaking of, there's Reclamation Sage on the wheel. I don't think Golos is a thing worth going after, really. I mean, I guess had I taken Gigantha, you could do Gigantha, Golos, and Incubation Druid wheeled. It's interesting that Wolf Willowhaven didn't wheel, but Incubation Druid did wheel. Yeah, that is curious. So I guess we're like basically locked. I mean, we're locked for green at this point with Pilgrim, Goose, and Druid. Locked for green. Oh, we wheeled Touch the Spirit Realm. Okay. Don't really like Primal Command that much. And then I'd say, I mean, before the Touch the Spirit Realm even, and Indatha Triumph wheeled, another green-white duel, potentially opening up some black splash. Nothing here. Took the Zergos, the most powerful card. Late Rabbit Battery too. But yeah, locked for green, and then really could not end up white. You know, splashing Swords to Plowshares is fine, but beyond that, I don't have to play white. Got some good sideboard stuff, and Thalia obviously strong. Isika God of the Tree wheeled too. And Fateful Absence. So cards in colors. Oops, sorry about that table bump there. And then a real dud of an opener. Nothing that I really want to splash. Nothing that I'm thrilled by. Like, Sun Titan is good, right? Like, there's a lot of cute things in our deck with it. Getting back some dorks. Obviously Lauren or Reclamation Sage. You know, you can channel Touch the Spirit Realm to flicker something, and or like a token, kill a token, and then get back touch with Sun Titan. I think I ended up taking last minute here Lair of the Hydra, just because I was like, on a 6-drop. And Lair of the Hydra ended up playing out really nicely. A lot of good cards here in green and white, but I gotta take Menagerie Curator. Partially still holding out, I think, on the Lurrus life. Partially thinking that if I take the Curator here, one of these 4 white cards will wheel Restoration, March, Rabble Rousing, or Sune's Intervention, and I think I'd be happy with all of them. And Curator's just so good. And here was a spot where I wanted Mirari's Wake, but I assumed it was going to wheel. And it felt like I could be a Great Henge deck, and I'm really missing, you know, wishing that I had taken the Lovestruck Beast over the Bauble at this point, because Great Henge is so good with Beast, right? Beast on 3, Henge on 4 is an awesome play pattern. But Great Henge, I think, is still good. You can see me pulling some cards off to the side of just like cards I'm hoping not to play at the moment. Those are going to end up on the side of my lands. Great Henge too. Like, Great Henge I don't think is great in my deck right now, but certainly could be, and I want to keep my eyes on it. So that's why it's off to the side there too. Yugen defends the temple. Awesome. Especially with the 2 1-mana rock or 1-mana dorks. Selfless Spirit, fine. Nothing crazy. Certainly great if we get Lurrus, but... And like, you know, like I said, fine. Fine evasive 2-drop. But nothing that I'm writing home about. You don't want to have, like, pairing a bunch of aggressive white creatures with a bunch of cheap aggressive white creatures with green dorks is not great, but you take it. Wedding Announcement, That's pretty awesome here. I have no idea what I'm doing with the highlighting of the Great Henge, but happy to take announcement. Again, another card that's great to ramp out, Pilgrim or Goose on 1, and then announcement or Yugen Defends on 2. And feeling really good about not taking Sun Titan because now we have Primetime, which is great. Can go find Lair of the Hydra also, makes that pick even nicer. We'll wheel maybe Tarmogoyf here, right? There'll be 8 cards left after we take Primetime, so possible to wheel a card as well. And Primetime's great with Henge because it's so large. We get a Courser versus Charming Prince, 3-drop versus 2-drop, but Prince doesn't do a ton for us, whereas Courser's pretty dang nice. Also plays well with Primetime, right? Getting multiple lands in play. And then Portable Hole versus Sun Titan. I wasn't super worried about aggro given how low my curve was and have a little bit of incidental life gain. So I like the Sun Titan for all the reasons we said before. Didn't end up wheeling March, which I didn't care that much about because we had the Lauren and the Rex Sage. Similarly, Sune's Intervention. I think partially I had played with Intervention in my Luris qualifying deck and had been like really impressed by it. Wake did end up wheeling, and I wouldn't be surprised if I wished that I had Vivian Reed there. I think I main decked Wake, but ended up siding it out almost every match. I think I was a little bit more excited / thought maybe I would have more things to do with my mana, because I usually do. But no. And there's just a rock solid pack 3 pick 1 in Luminarch Aspirant, one of the best white cards in the cube. It's a 2-drop. Possibly to wheel like Toski or Mural or Esper Sentinel, but that seems less likely. And given that we have Sune's Intervention and Touch the Spirit Realm, maybe we don't have to main deck either Lauren or Rex Sage, and we can get away with just wheeling them. It's a tough pick here. Again, I forget what I took. I should take Mikaeus. I checked my creature count here, which is only 10. So a lot of non-creatures. So Monastery Mentor is good. Mentor plus Wake is very good. We've also got the, what's it called? The Immortal Sun as another Anthem effect, right? So 3 potential Anthem effects with Wedding Announcement flipping 2. But we do end up taking the Mikaeus, which is good. And then another great pickup here with Iganjo, Seed of the Empire. We have not a ton of removal, and we're high on playables though, so getting that kind of duality or flexibility from our lands is awesome. Similarly here, we get to take Fabled Passage, another dual land for us, over Amiria's Call. I could see taking Amiria's Call too, with how hard we ramp. But a third dual land is really nice. And I think just quickly scan over to see if Elish Norn does a ton for us in terms of enter the battlefield effects. Not really. Sagas don't work with it. It's like, sure, it doubles prime time. I guess it doubles the counters in the draw with Great Henge, but that's like super duper win more. Voice of Resurgence is nice. Kind of a swing and a miss here, except actually Steel Seraph, which is great to ramp into and also great in your opener, and makes me feel really good about like picking up that Fabled Passage is going to end up being really smart, because our mana requirements for even though we're just a 2-color deck, our mana requirements are quite intense. And then I get really really derailed here with the Yorion. Like, it's not that I miss out on something else, like in the Trenches or Vorinclex or Bodyguard or Valorous Stance. Like, they're all fine. I was just like, well, my deck is like kind of like it's just fine. Is it so bad to like? And I know I have a bunch of playables in the sideboard. Get a Temple Garden, pick 8. Get a mural. So we're actually really nicely set up for control matchups, right? We've got Thalia, we've got Voice of Resurgence, we've got murals. So anyone who's like trying to do stuff on our turn, checking our creature count once again. I could take Settle the Wreckage here too for the sideboard. I'm just like not worried about aggressive matchups at all. Maybe I should be a little bit more, but really not worried about aggressive matchups right now. And feeling good about being able to decide how I can sideboard against control decks. I don't know if I'm going to start with all this stuff. I mean, maybe I'm starting with with everything, given the Yorion. Which, spoiler alert, I do end up, figuring out what should I do in terms of the late Dauntless Bodyguard. I didn't quite get there on playables. Let me see if I can just skip ahead real quick. Yeah, so here's the deck that I ended up running match 1, game 1. 29 lands, which is a lot, but, 3 of them cycle, 1 of them is a creature land, 1 of them is a spell land. Have quite a bit to ramp into, but there's also quite a lot of, filler in the deck. But I felt like I wanted to be true to myself in my memes and main deck the Yorion. You'll see me switch it up pretty soon, so let's get to the games. Surprise, costume change, day change, light change probably. All right, here we go. Let's get the speed up to 2x, and let's get to these games. Match 1. I believe I end up mulliganing that. Yeah, no double white for the Seraph, and you can mulligan with Yorion pretty happily usually. Lead on a Dauntless Bodyguard. Forceful Cultivator on 2 means the rest of their hand is gas, which is terrifying. Irrigated Farmland just in here as a Cycling Plains. Clarion Spirit on 2, not much else to think about. They have their own Yugen Defense. Touch the Spirit Realm can only hit artifacts and creatures. So we'll have to wait till it flips if we want to deal with it. Here's our own Yugen. They dump the counters. I'm also realizing that I could have channeled Touch to kill the 2/2 because they're mana screwed, so it might be worth killing their dork there. Setting up my mana is good though too. Lets me be able to cycle plus or channel plus put Yorion in hand next turn if I want to. Interesting that they play Beseiju up there rather than using it to take out Yugen Defense. Put the counters on the non-dorks. Land, Yorion in hand, Growth Spiral, and now they've ramped so much that there's not really a reason to touch on the 2/2. I guess I'm also realizing that what I could do is I can play Touch on the 2/2 dork because it's a token and then flicker it with Yorion as well. They drop Oracle. I mean, their board's really out of hand, and I'm going to be pretty prone to flooding with my 29 land hand. They attack with 3/4, cycle farmland into a Pilgrim, hit another land, Yugen defends, flips. And I'm pretty sure what I end up doing is touch the Oracle so that if I want to flicker it next turn, it'll reset the size. If they're tapped out, that is. And then we bash for 6. That's the other reason that getting the Oracle out of the way is good, because it allows me to attack, which is paving the way for one of the only ways I can win. And us double spelling lets us get a big flyer here, right? Or big in air quotes. We get a 3/3 flyer from the token from Clarion Spirit plus the beef from Yugen. And another land, I mean, I'm in trubs here. We cycle first. And attack with just the 3/3 flyer. And I don't know if I didn't know if I... Oh, I think I must have been reading them from a counterspell, right? They could have beefed up Solemn and they chose not to. So I was assuming they had a counterspell. Here comes Vraska blowing up, touch the Spirit Realm. We're basically done here. Like, if this were a regular game, I would absolutely concede. Here's Vendilion Click, and then we get Courser. It's a big Courser, right? And getting Seraph next turn is good. Like, there is a world where I can just... I don't know. Kill them in the air randomly. They've got... what is this? The Cruelty of Gix saga coming up. They also have Collective Brutality, which they can draw, right? They can plus Vraska, sack a land, which is what I would do if I were them. I would plus Vraska, sack a land, or sack Solemn, draw Brutality, and kill my Yugen. Sort of confused why they don't do that. Duco Slicer, what a busted card. So this Eternal Witnesses there, like, gets a card back from their graveyard and then conjures a copy of any card in my graveyard into their hand, which is just disgusting. They get their own touch on Yugen. Yep. And then big punt time here with Steel Seraph. Choose lifelink, not flying. You can see I was hoping to have flying here, but no. And they just chump with Solemn, gain 7, but not what I meant to do. Not that that was going to win us any game anyway, but like, look at all this. They have Vivian, Brutality, V-Click, Cruelty, and we're drawing Mirari's Wake. It's not going to happen for us this game. They trade Vraska for Agent, and then, or they trade Vraska for Courser, and then Agent of Treachery comes down. And we're de-sideboarding here. And by not de-sideboarding, I mean de-60ing here. Deciding which of our top-end spells to play in these matchups is quite interesting. So I do still want all of my mana sources. I still want 17 lands because of we got the spell lands, we got cycling lands. Like, we can get out of Flood pretty handily. I think, yeah, 7-4 is our split here, and that's 17 lands. And really, when you're de-sideboarding like that, or when you're sideboarding so aggressively like that, you really just got to make sure you're not timing out. So, good opener here for us. Sorry, I'm hovering over this. Oh, I know what I need to do. Hold on. Let's get this taskbar. There you go. Boom, baby. Full screen for you. So Curator gets a Clarion Spirit, and we go ahead and cycle Groves, and now we have Yugen defends, and then our choice of 6-drops next turn. 2 6-drops that I assume will draw us cards off of Curator. I don't think we have other Titans. Oh, and I can also switch. Let's do this. No. I'll switch for the next game. Where my head is. Quality content here, I know. Steel Seraph. Smash. It's quite a curve out. Quite a curve out. Oracle with Ether Channeler on top. Land from their hand. There's a Thalia for us. Go ahead and play that first in case there's a, I don't know, counterspell that they've got. And then we just drop a prime time. And that's it for them. All right, one sec. Okay, that should be better now. Go ahead and check anything we want out of the board. We're bringing in Dauntless Bodyguard, just trying to get under them, I think, is the thought there. It's maybe where I hem and haw. I think I also end up playing Yorion, and I think I realized that Great Henge is just not actually very good in this deck, and Immortal Sun is much better. I think I'm just not likely to be able to get Great Henge out for cheap. Still need cuts. I think I end up scrapping the Bauble. And I do believe someone in my chat recommended Yorion as just coming in as a flyer here. Maybe that's another match. All right, Bauble out. What a great hand that is. So they take a mulligan. We've got just a banger of an opener. Pilgrim into 2-drop tap land. Go Breeding Pool Elves. Glissa Sunslayer. And I mean, it sort of like gives away the game a little bit, but I don't particularly have a choice. So we play Temple Garden, pay 2 life, so we play it untapped so that we can attempt to Iganja this Glissa, because this is my only way to really 1-for-1 with this, in any kind of hopes of them not getting value from it immediately. So solve that problem. The turn 2 Glissa. And then they Brutality my Pilgrim, which is totally fine. We have a Lair of the Hydra and a Voice of Resurgence. Lair of the Hydra does work. Little Baby Krasis. No extra land for them. Pelt Collector. And I think I do end up playing Triome here. Yeah, just because I've got the Lair, so I definitely want extra lands. And now we've got Immortal Sun coming, so we're definitely going to play Groves. And no attacks. Right, Lair can only be a 2/2. And then if the Sun sticks, we're pretty thrilled. We know they have ways to blow it up, like we've seen, what's it called? Vivian. Wake as well, very interesting, but certainly less good. And as I realize, I'm like, this doesn't actually belong in this deck. It's just like a 5-mana Anthem. And they're at 13, but they're about to be at 10, right? Because Chapter 2 of Cruelty is going to deal them 3. So I just decide that smashing all is right. So put them to 7, and then they put themselves to 4. And the fact that they don't snap find something is also very good news for me, right? Remember, this is on 2x speed. I get a Solemn. So they're at 3 here. Oh, right, because of the Nurturing Peatland. And I believe what I can do is play Wake and pump Hydra for 3, which will be a 5/5. Just figuring out Hydra mana. Okay. And then they have to chump, chump, chump. They can get back Solemn if they want, as like probably the best. Oh, right, Glissa. Glissa's the best to get back. Okay, Autumn of Augur. Oh, and just the perfects of swords. The Glissa. Yeah, and then we have a million mana to dump into Lair, and we go 1-0. All right, here we are for match 2, and I did D-sideboard, meaning we're no longer companioning Yorion. It was a fun exercise, but won't be doing it anymore. And the question here is, do you lead on Goose or do you lead on Pelt Collector? The fact that Pelt Collector won't immediately grow, I think means you want to lead on Goose. But the other option is leading on Pelt Collector, because we're on the play, is better because Goose isn't immediately doing anything for us. Like, I don't think I'm going to spew the food to play Seraph on 2. Though I guess I could. I can do Seraph on 2, or I can Mikaeus. It's tough. I don't know what's correct. I actually don't even remember what I ended up doing. So we ended up Pelt Collector. Mountain is good for me because I think I have a good aggro matchup, but Mountain Faithful Suiting is less good because I assume that means blue-red. And yikes. Chrome Host Seed Shark and Vendilion Click to the bin. A really nice draw in Dauntless Bodyguard. So we get to Dauntless on Pelt Collector, grow it to a 2/2, play the Goose, and still have the ability to play either Seraph or Mikaeus. This is frustrating because Dauntless Bodyguard will save this, and I think it should, but the next time they cast something, which could just be Faithful Suiting next turn, they can kill Pelt Collector. So that means what I have to do is play Steel Seraph, especially having not hit a land here. I have to play Steel Seraph to grow Pelt Collector out of the range of the excess damage from Molten Impact and present another formidable threat in the Seraph itself. Oh, and I think there's a misplay coming up too, so that's fun for everybody. All right, a Braid takes out the Seraph. Extra damage goes on Goose. Dragon Rage Channeler is a 3/3 now. End up dropping Mikaeus for 2. No attacks. We'll wait for the Dragon Rage Channeler to get out of our way because it has to attack. Opponent just Lightning Strikes the Pelt Collector. And bashes. Sune's Intervention. Unlucky. I think that's the... I'm trying to remember how many 6s I ended up leaving in the main deck. Prime Time. Sune's Intervention. I think I have Immortal Sun main. I don't remember. As far as I can tell, I think the misplay is next turn. Sword of Fire and Ice, yeah. So Wow, I'm binning Nightclub Bouncer. So what I'm trying to do is anticipate the ping from Sword. And what I should have done was attack both, which I think would have tempted them to play Mikaeus, because what I really need to do is have Pilgrim survive, hit land number 5, and blow up Sword. But as it stands, because I've left Mikaeus untapped, I've left them no choice but to blow up Pilgrim because I can save Mikaeus. But Pilgrim is actually the card that I want more, you know? And here I do get maximum punished, I think, by... Oh no, we draw a Touch of Spirit Realm, which is actually pretty good here, right? We do get to exile the Sword, but we're still in a ton of trouble against the Flyer, against Iconoclast. Sort of weighing the options of like, can I even attack here? I don't think so, because then I'm trading 3 for 5, and I'm on a 2-turn clock. And then Fight with Fire is GG. So down another game. I do think we have good options against this blue-red deck. We've seen Sword at least, so we got to bring in at least Lauren. Yeah, we do have Immortal Sun as well. Primetime is out, just not doing a ton. Immortal Sun out. I think I end up cutting Wake as well. So we have Rexage, we have Lauren in. Just peep in their graveyard. Monastery Mentor. Looks like I'm cutting Rexage because I've got both Lauren and Sune's Intervention. And because I want to play Mentor, I'm thinking I need to play Bauble. Looking at, is Fateful Absence that good? I mean, against Seed Shark and Vendilion Click it is. Getting Wake out makes sense. And I think here is where I end up then cutting Bauble, Mentor, and then bringing in Yorion. Curve is lean and mean, which is exactly what we want / need. Looks like I'm thinking about cutting a land on the draw here. Also fine. 10, 11, 12, yeah. So we cut a land on the draw, leaving in Bauble Mentor. See what we can't do. Play first. Yeah, no problems here. Goose on 1, Mural on 3. Squawk, squawk. Single red Grim Lavamancer. Okay. Looks like I'm playing untapped land so that I can just make a food. Sulfur Falls for the opponent. Terrified of a counterspell here, but what can you do, you know? And I go to second main. I'm in these spots. I'm always curious. Like if they've got pauses already, that means they're less likely to only have a counterspell, right? They've got something to do now. It could just be Censor and they can cycle it. Ends up being Snapcaster Mage, but if they have a pause, that means they have something non-counter related to do as well. And I definitely don't want to give them that choice. This is awesome. So I'm checking quickly. Is Aspirant a soldier? No. But still play Aspirant first. Pump the counter on Mural. And because Mural's a legend, Iganjo as a channel land as a deal 4 only costs 2. So I don't even have to use my last food. Pump up the volume on Mural. And then surprisingly, they triple block. Terrified of this Mural, and we just get maximum blowout. Kill the Seed Shark, and then kill their other 2 bodies. Feels good. Dragon raised Chandler. Are we still? I feel like we're not. We're not. Give me this fast speed. There we go. Come on now. I guess when you pause, it goes back to 1x. All right. Well, that was not exciting. After the blowout, I think they just have to be done. They played Invasion of Mercadia, didn't like what they found, and conceded. As for us, we run it back. 16 lands. I guess that was 16 lands on the play last time. Now it's 16 lands on the draw. They mulliganed. That's good for me. Forest is a really good top deck. And the fact they have no 1-drop and then Invasion on 2 is also great. And I think what I do is voice Temple. Or maybe I just go for the Seraph here. Wow. Oh, I like Seraph. Yeah. Seraph makes sense because then I can go... I'm thinking about mana efficiency. I can go 2-drop, 2-drop. So I get to voice and then aspirant and then counter on voice. And the reason I like counter on voice is a card they're going to want to deal with. I mean, they deal with it in a very effective way. We layer and then same deal, pump up the voice. But if they deal with it in any kind of damage way, then we're left with a body as well. And spreading the counters away from Aspirant is good too, because Aspirant's also a card they're going to want to answer if at all possible. So you've got Nahiri's Warcrafting on their battle. Reveals a land which they can play, and they have Chiron. So we've got Igonjo again, which I don't expect to be able to get the blowout on. And here I'm just thinking about all of the various permutations I have. And if I have a layer activation pre-combat, which I guess I would have, right? If I had... No, I wouldn't have had a layer activation pre. So we make voice a 4/4 attack. They don't block. I think we have to take the opportunity here to touch the 3/3 and then Fable, go get a Plains and Mikaeus for 2. And then part of me is thinking about a sweeper, like a burn down the house, or the dragon saga that deals 2 on chapter 1. Baral's Expertise and a Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay, so we have Swords to Plowshares, which we're going to telegraph, basically. Like, I think I end up voicing, attacking with Pilgrim, holding up swords. And I'm trying to weigh the options of here. Is it better for me to get them to commit the 2 mana to equipping the sword before I cast swords on their creature? Or do I just fire it off now? I don't think there's an option to not fire it off because I just risk them connecting with it. So the question is... And I realize, like, they know... Okay, so I play Igonjo out, and I guess this is so I can have Aspirant. And I wish I had tapped Pilgrim for voice. Put sword on the bouncer. I guess I should have done this in response to the equip, but in case they have some sort of hasty thing, and now I just have to do it in response to Flames of the Firebrand. Hello, you beautiful sideboard card, you. Go ahead and drop Mikaeus. And there's Snapcaster for Flames. They kill Lauren Mikaeus. And now Lair of the Hydra starts to do some work. Debating whether playing Thalia is better. And I think hitting for 4 here is more advantageous while the getting is good. I don't think Thalia is going to do a ton for them. They sack the Fiery Islet. They have Grim Lavamancer. They have a Braid on voice. Yeah, okay. Wedding Announcement is nice. So I think we wedding announcement first, then Thalia, so it doesn't cost more. And then no attacks. Just growing our Voice of Resurgence token here. And they really put up a fight. I don't think they run out of gas here. Plus they've got Lavamancer activations for days. Yeah, okay. And we drop Courser. We see Sune's Intervention coming up. All right. Just thinking about, what am I thinking about? Oh, attacks with Lair, if I want to draw a card or if I want more 1/1s. I decide that more bodies is best at this point. Hit the land. Get one more body off the announcement. We can intervention on their turn. Seek up an Incubation Druid. Get ourselves a land. I think we activate Lair and Bash. And they have to block Lair. They don't die here, right? Oh, and now, okay. Especially not with Lightning Strike. They're close, though, because they can go like block. I think they can leave themselves Bone Crusher. Is that true? Yeah. They Bone Crusher, eat a 2/2, and then Lavamancer shoots a 2/2, and they take 3, but they're basically done. Druid down, and let's go. 2-0. All right, match 3 on the play. Not a bad opener, right? Pelt Collector on 1, Yugen on 3, Primetime on 5 currently. Did not expect the green-white mirror. I am clocking the Guardian Idol. In terms of sideboarding. Not a ton of decisions so far, right? Felidar Retreat, another card I'm not concerned about at all, and honestly happy to see, because I think that's going to be good sideboarding for us. And we get to drop Primetime next turn. Okay. Make a 2/2, Pack Leader, and Restoration of Iganjo. Now, I'm almost about to play Primetime, and then I think, you know, I could just end this game, right? I could just play Goose, make it a 5/7 with Remnant. And then I've got Selfless Spirit coming up next turn, and I can make that huge too. They seem pretty soft to flyers currently. So let's do that. And we do. Chapter 2 of Restoration pops off. What I like about this is that it not only presents, like, Goose is now a thing you have to deal with, plus Remnant is a thing you have to deal with. And you got to kind of deal with it now because you see Selfless Spirits coming. So they discard Adversary, which is very cute with Restoration, right? Because you still get to pay that pseudo kicker cost. Landfall from Retreat. They choose to put a counter on everything. Here's Garruk Relentless. Fighting Remnant. And it's possible this was a mistake too, but my feeling was, even if all they're doing is like landfall, Felidar retreat, they get a 2/2 and then cash that in. Like if I don't kill Garrick now with Goose, which feels like a waste, right? And I leave Scattered Groves in the deck because if I'm going to draw land, and I'm putting an upkeep stop in case I want to sack Fable. So anyway, I decide that them being able to tutor their best creature next turn is bad for me. So I use Goose to take out Garrick. And then the Eternal Wanderer comes in. And they choose to reset Goose first before using the what is it, the edict, the you keep a creature, I keep a creature of it all. And we just decide to go threat here. We have Wake coming. Just thinking about like cracking Fable, bashing with Lair here. Is this good? Is it like, does this do anything? Do I want to draw Wake? So I do make Lair a 2/2. Oh, and I do end up bashing all, it looks like, on Wanderer. No. Oh, right. That's what I forgot. I was trying to bash all, and then I was like, oh, I can't do that because of the passive. So yeah, I basically like am dead to just what's it called? Like I need to find a Mortal Sun. They attack for 9. Luckily, I've gained a lot of life. Go ahead and take out Pack. Oop. Go ahead and take out Pack Leader. I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I switched my blocks here. Like if they have something to blow me out, they have something to blow me out. I don't know why. Oh, because they can pump. That's why. If they pump Pack Leader, if they activate it, then they can take out both of my creatures. Now seems like as good a time as any to minus Wanderer. Yeah. You get to leave me with... I thought they were going to leave me with Goose, but they left me with Voice, which is pretty smart. And then they play Thalia. Very much a mirror match here. Deeproot Wayfinder. Land from Retreat. They get a 2/2. I mean, they just have so much action here in terms of like lands are good draws for them and spells are good draws for them. So it's a real tough climb. I was thinking that I could, like, my life total was high enough that I could still do okay with an Immortal Sun. Like, they obviously needed to draw poorly, but could get there. Go ahead and exile the Pack Leader pre-combat. Just don't want them to get that Pack Tactics trigger. It's cute. They get to cycle the land, and then they can get it back with the Wayfinder. It's an impressive run by the Felidar Retreat here, I would say. And a Toski. This is definitely getting out of hand. Yeah, gotta cycle the Grove. Straw Druid, isn't it? Feeling like I've got like one more turn, maybe. Just go ahead and make a large lair. I can draw so many cards too, right? Because Toski is for each creature, so I kind of have to end up killing the double striker because double strike will let them draw twice. Oh, looks like little Jonah may be up. We may have another costume change before this video is over. Cat from Retreat, Tireless Tracker. Okay, so we get to adapt, get to play Seraph, and kill Eternal Wanderer, but then we're just left with a 5/4. Like, they have to have truly nothing. So I do take out Wanderer eventually. Finally. But dead to a sneeze here, and I do believe they have a sneeze. Yeah. Bushwhack taking out the Steel Seraph. Okay. Bringing in Lauren, bringing in Rexage, bringing in Fateful Absence, right? We saw 2 Planeswalkers, Garrick and Wanderer. It's like, do I have time for Approach? No, I don't think so. And then what are we cutting? I assume Wake is cut. I think Dauntless Bodyguard's out. I should probably, again, be swapping Primetime for Sun Titan, or at the very least, Primetime getting cut. Yorion is a flyer. Right? Flyers they did have an issue with. Primetime out. Yeah, I like Pelt Collector out too, honestly. Like, they've got good early creatures, and they are going to have large creatures too. All right, let's play first. I mean, look at this beautiful hand. Turn 1 Goose. Turn 2 Yugen. Turn 3 Druid, and then a counter on it from Aspirant. Just setting up the most disgusting turns. And you'll see that the bad news happens quite quickly. So we go ahead and play Seraph so that I can get in as many attacks as possible. So 3/3 and then make the thing a flyer. And as soon as they chump my 3/3 with their 2/3 at 18 life, I know what's happening. And it's Day of Judgment. And there's no recovering from this. Yeah, Tireless Tracker, land, Adversary, Selfless Spirit, but nothing to do. Sort of going through the motions. I forget how many turns I let this play out for before realizing we're done here. It's Oracle with Felidar Retreat coming. That's pretty sick for them. Go ahead and trade off my voice token. Drawing I think these are my only 2 6s, right? Because I cut Primetime and didn't bring back in Sun Titan. Oh yeah, I was hoping to blow them out with my 3/3. Like maybe they trade with Tracker and they didn't see the layer activation, but They saw it, and then here's land off the top for Felidar Retreat. Pack leader. They attack. They got those clues. We have Thalia. We're done here. And that is that's match 3. All right, 2-1. This is the money match here. Got to well, not the money match, but the match that lets us draft again or not. It's a good opener. Dork, Thalia removal spell plus Lair of the Hydra. That's been quite impressive. So we keep. Opponent mulligans and ships. Drop Lair and Pilgrim. Second swamp. I'm supposed to have the black cards here, you know? So Pilgrim. I played Druid. Oh, I played Druid instead of Thalia because I want to be able to play Sun on 6, and they're stuck on 2, so it doesn't look like it really matters. I'm still thinking about, am I supposed to Thalia? Am I not? Should I attack? I have 5 mana available, right? I can just dump all my mana into Incubation Druid, which I do end of turn, and then this is just going to be all over, right? Like, Immortal Sun, Thalia attack, like, they do draw a red source. Black-red's supposed to be my deck, folks. Not yours, mine. There's Forge Fire, Automaton. Sort of a no wrong way to eat this Reese's type deal. We bodyguard, protect the Incubation Druid. Don't end up firing off Touch the Spirit Realm. And I think holding up Touch, because it's a way, like, if they happen to have, I don't know, Kolaghan's Command, you know, to blow up my Immortal Sun, it's a way for me to protect Immortal Sun at instant speed, which is how I'm thinking about it right now. So go ahead and fetch a Plains, and I think we're just, like, super, like, dump a ton of mana into this and smash all. End up holding back Bodyguard as a bit of a, I don't know, a hedge. They're still stuck, they double block, and head explodes. So not really much of a game, which is great. I'm happy to have not much of a game. Just hovering over Immortal Sun, being quite impressed. I think Sun Titan in here. I think like figuring out that I have not built optimally. Right, so Sun Titan in, cutting Sune's Intervention. Like, it's tough. Red Black's not gonna have any enchantment. Well, I guess they might have like Bastion of Remembrance or something. They certainly might have some artifacts that we care about, right? Ember Cleave. So it looks like I'm keeping in the Intervention. I've brought in a second Titan. Bringing in Great Henge, I guess, for the life gain. It's weird to cut Immortal Sun. I get cutting it on the draw. Like, it's really good on the play, but we also have explosive starts. I don't know. Some sideboard swaps there, but I think really realizing that Mirari's Wake did not belong in this deck. And it's not like the best hand ever. I just got a lot better for sure with that Goose off the top. I would have been happy to play Scattered Groves on 2 and then Voice. And now we can just Yugen Defends on 2. Which I think just the faster you get that going. Like, obviously we could have cast Voice and Pilgrim. Liliana of the Veil, minus. All right, well, Goose did its job. Put a +1/+1 counter there. Definitely have some choices here. I think what I end up doing is touch, Plarg, kill Lily. It's not my favorite. Like, I would love to be able to, like, I could just go nuts here and go like Pelt Collector, Voice, Pilgrim. But I just don't really want them to have the opportunity to, like, I don't know, plus discard something for value. And, like,
let's just get rid of this Planeswalker. And then they play something where I can't, can't deal with it in a reasonable amount of time. And another Planeswalker here with an awkward-ish stat line. We have possibly 5 mana available to us. Not going to spend any mana on that one. I will pump up the Voice, right? Because I don't need to spend mana on the Pel Collector because it's going to grow anyway. And then play Groves tapped. Just like, I just want lands with Lair. Go ahead and plus Sorin. Extinction Event. Oh, right. I remember this. Extinction Event is such a sick rip for them. And then I think they misclick. Or just like misevaluate what the problems are. Because I was assuming they were going to pick Odd, right? Kills. But they must have thought that Remnant of the Rising Star was even, is my guess. Because they choose even, which kills their creature. Obviously, like, Voice gets exiled, but like, I'm pretty thrilled here. And again, we just go for like, let's make a giant Pilgrim rather than... Oh, I can't even Sun Titan because I don't have a Mana Dork. So we just make a giant Pilgrim, take out Sorin. Yeah, I think that must have been I think they must have thought that Remnant of the Rising Star was even. Because I thought they would have taken Odd and then get rid of Remnant and Pelt Collector, and then they leave themselves with the 2/3 lifelink. And I've got Voice, and I forget what the other card was. Maybe the token, which is fine. And now we have Sun Titan happening. No mana to pump stuff up. Opponent's at 10. Gotta fade. Well, I mean, Grave Titan is a thing for sure. And we go ahead and attack Sun Titan in the air, or Sun Titan and Remnant in the air, make a giant Goose, an 8/10. They chump. Goose has been swole this run. Not sure what this is, but I just say let's take it. And I think that does it. I forget if they make me attack for lethal or if anything happens here. I wonder what that attack was about. Like, if I blocked there, what happens? If there's like a death trigger or something in the cube. Oh, and I think they just time out. Let's see. Yeah, they time out here. And then, I mean, we can show you the lethal attack there. But yeah, so 3-1. And you'll have to stay tuned for the next video here on the channel, where we'll have Arena Open Day 2, Draft 2.